Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi. Welcome to the new lecture of Advanced Software Engineering or Software Engineering 2. Any question about the last lecture? Mr. Hussam? Mr. Khalid? Mr. Faisal? No. Okay. How to achieve safety? We talk about safety terminologies, we talk about safety in the last lecture. How to achieve safety? Yes, Mr. Hussam, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid. Okay. We need to achieve three things: hazard avoidance, hazard detection and removal, and delimitation. So what is hazard avoidance? Avoidance means you have to avoid that hazard, the possible hazard. So first you need to identify possible hazards and try to avoid them. For example, car driving. Don't overspeed to avoid the hazard, or using mobile phone while driving. If you use mobile phone, you have high chances of hazard, accident. So don't use mobile phone while driving. Let's talk about software. Smoke detection, obstacle detection, so fire alarming system, barrier detection system, flight control system, nuclear reactor control system, space shuttle system. You need to test them on regular basis. For example, you have electric fence at home, you have motion sensors on the doors and the windows. So keep on testing electric fence. It's not like once a year when you are leaving home, you on the electric current in your fence and maybe it's not working. Or the alarming system for the motion sensors. You don't use them, you don't test them on regular basis. Maybe the batteries will become weak and one of the batteries will not work. So you have to test your system on regular basis. Same like flight control software. Keep on checking that it is working correctly with respect to location and direction. Like the case of Korean airline, while during the flight on autopilot mode, the plane enters into airspace of Russia while during the Cold War between Russia and USA. And during that period, America was sending spy planes in Russia. So the Russian army thought that it's a spy plane, but actually it was a passenger plane, and they hit that plane and all the passengers died. So you need to test your hardware, you need to test your specifications while developing that you have implemented all the safety measurements. Like cars. In Pakistan, I noticed the heating system is no more available in the car. So how the driver will know that car is going to heat up or engine is going to heat up if you don't have heating system? Same, I noticed there is no airbag in many cars, companies like Toyota, Honda, Suzuki. So they are playing with the lives of people, but that doesn't work in advanced countries and in third world or second world countries where there is a check by the Hukuma, by the government, and they implement the safety measures before any car is introduced in the market. So that's the hazard avoidance. The system is designed so that some classes of hazards simply cannot arise. So you have to identify the classes of hazard, and you should have a checklist, and you keep on checking that checklist on regular intervals. Then secondly, hazard detection and removal. First you identify the possible hazards. Now you design in order to detect and remove them. So you already detected them and then remove them before they can result into an accident. Like fixing the hardware issues, or before any flight will take off, there is a regular inspection of the plane, the whole plane, all systems are checked, fuel system, then the tires and the safety autopilot and safety measures, air conditioner, windows, these all are, whole inspection is done before it is cleared for the flight or for the takeoff. Then damage limitation. You cannot detect all possible hazards. There are some unknown, but your objective is to identify, detect maximum as much as possible. And after that, once you have the safety measurements, like you have seat belt, you are wearing seat belt, you are not overspeeding, you are not using mobile phone, in case of accident there will be less damage, less chances of injury, less chances of death. Same like it is an instruction by the traffic police that don't put or don't allow your child to sit on the front seat. It should be seated on the back seat and with the seat belt, because in case of accident the child can hit to the dashboard or the front window of the car and can be hurt or can be died. So after that, the safety measurements, the airbag, the heating system, the seat belt, you are not using mobile phone, the damage will be less. Like nuclear power plant of Russia, when it was exploded, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident, there was no safety measures and 3.5 million people were affected. But in contrary to that, the Japan, when tsunami hit to Japanese nuclear power plant, they have safety measurements, they stop the plant and they have all safety checks before the flood hit to the nuclear power plant, and there was no single injury, there is no single death, and they minimized the damage. Only some parts of the plants were damaged and they repaired after the tsunami. So this includes protection failure, protection features, and minimize the damage that will result into an accident. Like you are using autopilot, but the the pilot and his assistant, the co-pilot. I remember one story, one of the African plane, I didn't remember the country name. Both pilots slept during the flight when the plane was in autopilot mode, and it crossed the destination. After 45 minutes, they woke up. Both pilots woke up, and then they landed on their destination. While they were passing by the destination, air traffic control sent them message again and again to land their plane. So there was very likely that this plane can hit to some other plane, because there was no direction by the air traffic control to take what height after the destination, and there could be another plane coming on the same height. But luckily there was no accident happened and all passengers saved, and there was no accident reported. But that can result. So both pilots were sacked from their positions. That was the damage limitation. What are the normal reasons of software failure? We already talked about the possible failure reasons: poor specifications, poor testing, hardware failure, human error. So these are the possible reasons. Because of that, software can fail or can result into an accident. The next topic is how we can say that our software is secure, how to achieve security. Now we talk about security. Previously we were talking about the safety. Security also can be achieved by several means. For example, yes, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Usam, any of you. Okay. By achieving authentication, integrity, and privacy. So what is authentication? Yes, Mr. Usam, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid, any of you, what comes to your mind? Okay. Authentication means who is who. The client and server know each other. Like in network courses, Tanabam and William Starling books, or in Halsall, the common example used is Bob and Alice. Bob knows that this message comes from the Alice. Alice knows this message comes from the Bob. So client and server know each other. Like I send a message to Mr. Khalid or Mr. Faisal or Mr. Hassam. So all of you know that this message comes from our professor, from our instructor. And when you responded to me back, I know this message comes from Mr. Hassam or Mr. Khalid or Mr. Faisal. So that is authentication. You have to achieve authentication. That the message should go to the actual respondent, actual receiver, not to any other user or hacker or attacker. Then integrity. I already covered about integrity. Software or application can protect itself from unauthorized access. That means you have applied security technologies like Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah. Yes, firewall, cryptography, encryption, decryption, digital certificate, antivirus. These are common security technologies. And then you have privacy. How to achieve privacy? Yes, Mr. Faisal or Mr. Hussam, Mr. Khalid, any of you. Okay. Privacy means when there is some communication between client and server, it should not be intruded, it should not be taped, it should not be leaked. Like normally we say, the newly married couples need privacy. So no other person can disturb them because they are new to each other and they are trying to understand each other. And if there is some father, mother from the both sides are present or elder people are present, there will be shyness, they will hesitate to talk to each other or to understand each other. So there is privacy. Or when boss is talking to some employee or he is trying to give him some harsh statements or trying to squeeze him, it should be private, not in publicly. He should insult the subordinate. So privacy means No taping, no hacking. Like right now in Pakistan, government is facing this problem that private chatting of the existing prime minister is available over the dark web. So, and hacker hacked all the conversations with the media people, with the ministers, with the political people, and some other conversations with the stakeholders or the military people. So it should not be disclosed. Whoever is there as a prime minister, privacy should be achieved. It's a very alarming situation for Pakistani government. So that's the privacy issue. You need to address that to achieve security. And how you need to achieve security, as I just covered this, by using the security technology. So by encryption and decryption, even hacker try to hack the conversation, it will not be understandable, because encryption is a process that converts the normal text into unreadable text, which is called ciphertext. And decryption is a process to convert back the ciphertext into normal or plain text. We call it plain text. So that's the implementation of cryptography, and digital certificate is the best technique available that protects the server and the client from leakage or privacy or intrusion. So for example, you apply digital certificate on the server, and because of that, all the clients that will connect to the server, they have secure communication, because a channel or tunnel is established between client and server. And there will be public key and private key are used. So public key is available, is provided by the server, or private key is provided by the server, and clients have the public key. So automatically two keys are generated when this encryption or decryption algorithm is implemented. RSA and PGP are two popular encryption algorithms, and we have two type of encryption algorithms. We have symmetric key encryption and we have asymmetric key encryption. Symmetric encryption, we also call it secret key encryption, and we use the same key to encrypt the data and same key to decrypt the data, like your password or PIN. Whereas in asymmetric key encryption, we have two keys. Two keys are generated. We have public key and private key. Normally, public key is available for the clients, and only the server contains the private key. So you encrypt the text or file using the public key, and it can only be decrypted by using the private key. So that is the asymmetric and symmetric encryption. XOR bit masking algorithm is an example of symmetric key encryption, and RSA and PGP are common examples of asymmetric key encryption. RSA stands for Rivest, Shimmer, Edelman. These were three scientists who patent asymmetric key encryption algorithm on their name, but actually it was introduced before them, and there were two scientists named Duffy and Hellman. They actually introduced asymmetric key, but unfortunately they did not patent it. And Rivest, Shimmer, Edelman, these three scientists patent registered against their name the asymmetric encryption algorithm, and it is the commonly used for all e-commerce applications, for banking applications. And PGP stands for pretty good privacy. So that's the way we can achieve privacy, to have secure communication between client and the server. We have some security terminologies like safety terminologies. Exposure, possible loss or harm in a computer system, like you don't have any antivirus, you don't have any protective measures in the operating system, then you are actually inviting the hackers. If you are connected to internet, please attack on my system. Then you have vulnerability. Yes, Mr. Hassan, what is vulnerability? Mr. Khalid, Mr. Faisal. Vulnerability means weak security. So you have some loopholes through which hackers can penetrate into the system. Here I would like to give you example of Stuxnet, the first cyber bomb that was introduced by top Hakuma, I don't want to mention the name, but top scientists. And objective was to damage nuclear power plant of Iran. So Stuxnet was introduced, and luckily Symmetric company involved in that matter, and they start reading and understanding what's happening over the internet, because Symmetric and Norton is antivirus company and Symmetric is the sister company of Norton. Some of the clients of Symmetric company reported them that our systems are automatically starting and shutting down. That means they were facing the booting problem. The computers were booting again and again, reboot, and were not performing their functions. And mostly clients in the Middle East and like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and such countries, in India, in Pakistan. So the scientists of Symmetric company visited to their clients, and they noticed something abnormal in the systems. Normally, the viruses are 5 kb, 10 kb, but this virus contains size of 500 kb. Then they checked that this virus is sending data to its owner. So they noticed these servers, the domains and the servers were purchased, and they by having a fake company. So Symmetric company removed those servers and they put their servers there. So all the data, so it was like sinkhole for that data, and it was going to now Symmetric company servers. All the data was transferred to. Once they start reading the code, understanding the code, all the scientists of Symmetric company were shocked, because it was a city of codes. It was not normal virus or normal software, very intelligent software, and you can change the instructions at runtime as well. And the viruses are normally installed on the hard disk, but this virus was very clever. When you run the system, it hides itself into RAM. So when you scan the hard disk, you will not find this. And then it used 0-day. What is 0-day? Yes, Mr. Hassan, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Faisal. 0-day is a bug in operating system. And Stuxnet used 4 0 days of Windows. The first bug from Internet Explorer, first 0-day. Through the Internet Explorer, it can penetrate into the system. Second 0-day in the print spooling file. In the network printer or shared printer, you have print spooling process. FIFO, the first in, first out. So as you are using your computer over the network, it can penetrate using the print spooling process. The third 0-day in the keyboard file, and fourth 0-day in the task scheduler. So any of the way it can penetrate and it can attack the system. And then they notice that after entering into a system, this virus reads all the files. If this system is not connected to some industrial plant, it will sleep, no damage. But if the system is connected to some plant, then it will activate. Then they further noticed that once it's connected to any plant, if the system is connected to any plant, by using 0 days, there is a PLC unit connected to all plants. PLC, P for parrot, L for lion, C for cat. Lion and cat are fighting for the parrot. I will eat, I will eat. No. Programmable logic controller to control the plants. And Siemens is well-known company that manufacture PLCs. So Siemens PLC is mostly used to control the plants, to start the plant, shut down the plant, increase the speed, decrease the speed, increase the temperature, decrease the temperature, increase the pressure, decrease the pressure. Stuxnet will take control of that PLC. So every PLC has an admin. So administrator will see a fake video, fake screen that everything is normal, like you have seen in movies, like a robber or thief wants to steal some jewelry shop or diamond shop. So there is a CCTV system. So in the CCTV, on the cameras, the thieves put some fake video. So the CCTV control room see everything is normal, but actually it is fake video. And during that time, the thieves or robbers were stealing the shop. Same Stuxnet does. The admin of PLC will see normal data. Everything is normal. Temperature is normal, pressure is normal, speed is normal, but it is not normal. It is abnormal. Like we have hertz, the frequency of the motors or rotors for the nuclear power plant, they have frequency in hertz. Frequency is the number of cycles per second. So if, for example, the nuclear power plant machine that will break the isotopes of uranium and plutonium to manufacture the atom bomb, if it can rotate at a speed of 4,000 hertz, Stuxnet will increase the speed to 10,000 initially, then 20,000, till machine physically burst or explode. Then the Symmetric company scientists read a news that in Iran around 2,000 machines are damaged. Initially, Irani media, which is very controlled media, tried to hide this information, but it was publicly noticed that there is something wrong in the nuclear power plant of Iran. And then they found out that this Stuxnet was specially designed to damage nuclear power plants of power plant machines of Iran. So that was the example of Stuxnet. Then America has a drone to monitor nuclear power plant of Iran, and it is very latest technology, and that drone normally flies at a height of 50,000 feet. And then Irani planes took the control of that drone from the actual owner and landed it in Iran. So this was normally predicted that Russia has given this technology to Iran. Otherwise, Iran doesn't have that technology, because this drone was the latest drone latest technology introduced by USA. So these are because of weak securities, the hackers or attackers can penetrate into the system. Attack like Stuxnet attacked nuclear power plant machines, and Irani scientists, after 1 to 2 weeks, they controlled that virus. But meanwhile, damage was done. Then threat. Threat means there is a possible cause or loss or harm, a situation that banking application, Hakuma applications, they are always under the threat of attack. Once I heard this news that CIA, FBI, NASA almost receive 6,000 networks attacks per day. So they have threat from Korean hackers, Russian hackers, Chinese hackers, Indian hackers, Pakistani hackers, all over the world. Sony company was once attacked by the Korean hackers for the future projects. So banks daily receive lot of attacks. So they are always under the threat of attacks. Control, like Irani scientists control Stuxnet. So if your system is under attack, you have to control it by fixing the loopholes of your security. I was in Malaysia during the period of 99 to 2001. They have a bank, its name is Maybank, Malaysian bank. So they publicly announced in the newspaper that if some hacker will hack our server, there is a reward of 1,000 Malaysian ringgit. Their currency is in ringgit or Malaysian dollar. So one hacker hacked Maybank server, and then Maybank not only awarded him 100,000 ringgit but also hired him as a network administrator, that you know better how to provide security. So that's the way how the hackers penetrate and how you control. Similarly, NASA, FBI, CIA, they have competition. They invite the top students from top universities like Stanford, Harvard, that hack our server. By this way, they know what are the loopholes, and then they can take corrective measures, protective measures to provide the security or increase the security. Next topic, how many categories of attacks we have? There are three types of attacks. We have three categories of attack. We have direct attack, active attack, passive attack. Direct attack, hackers takes the control as an administrator, as an owner of the system. They have the privilege, they have access, so they can remove all accounts, delete all data. So they can do, because they have full authorization. Then we have passive attack and active attack. It's like active smoking and passive smoking. In the active smoking, that smoker is himself inhaling the smoke, but the passive smoking, the people around him, they are inhaling the smoke of the smoker. Same, we have active attack when there is a communication between client and server, or between two clients. The hacker will change that information. For example, I submitted grades on the server, and student, if he's a hacker, he can change that grade from failed to 95 or 60 to 95. I remember one of my students in University of Lahore, when I was teaching there from 2001 to 2005, Jawad Naeem. Now he's working in a software company. He told me after his graduation that, Mr. Rizwan, please inform the network administrator that I hacked the examination server and I changed my grades and grades of my friends as well. So I told him, why you are telling me now? You should inform me before. So that's active attack. Or like you have stock exchange, to buy and sell the shares of different companies like Almarai, Aramco, STC, Saudi Electricity Company, Nahdi, or in Pakistan you have Unilever, and then 7 Up, Pepsi, for example, or Hamdard, Karshi. There is a stock market in every city, in every country. We call them stock exchange. I have broker there, so there are brokers in the stock exchange to buy and sell the shares. I have a broker there in stock exchange and ask broker to buy the shares of Almarai company or Aramco. The hacker changed that message to buy the shares of some unknown company or low profile company. So that's the way he can damage. Or credit card, debit card transactions over the internet. I purchase like 150 real and he does the damage to me like 1500 real. So that's the normal active attack. Then passive. Passive is like a spy. There was a movie of James Bond, Spy Who Loved Me. Spy, that means whatever you are performing action, you are doing your job over the mobile, over the laptop, over the desktop, computer, he is sharing your screen. He can see all the data. So if I send some email, one copy will go to the hacker or attacker. So this is very dangerous for the business organizations that their competitor can get such information, secret information, their future plans, their sensitive information regarding the new products, regarding the infrastructure, or regarding the system, regarding the methodology they are following. And before you want to introduce some product in the market, your competitor will introduce that product before you launch, and he will take the market edge, competitive edge. So that's a passive attack, which is like a taping. So he's taping, like the Pakistani government is facing this problem. It was passive attack. The hacker tapes all the conversation of the prime minister with the political people, with the ministers, with the media people. Then there are 3 types of attacks: denial of service, virus, and worm. Denial of service means the attacker will send so many requests that server cannot respond and physically crash. Like Shamoon virus attacked Aramco of Saudi Arabia, and around 35,000 computers were damaged because their hard disks were physically burned. And same Stuxnet damaged 2,000 machines of Irani nuclear power plant because the system, the machine, the server cannot respond and physically damaged. Then you have virus and worm. The difference between virus and worm, virus always needs another software to install or to damage, like audio clip, video clip. Whereas worm can spread over the network by itself. You run worm on one of the machine, all the network will be affected. All machines will suffer. Like virus. Trojan horse is a very common example of virus. There is a Hollywood movie Troy, the war between Greeks and the Romans. And the Romans have a castle, and Greeks were trying to win it. But there was resistance, and the castle was very strong. Then the Greeks play a trick. In the night, they hid their top fighters inside a wooden horse, and they put that horse in front of castle gate. So when next morning Romans woke up, they saw a big horse and there was no Greek army there, so they thought they have won the war and it's a gift from their god. So they took that horse and put it inside the castle. And in the night, the top fighters, they came out of the horse and opened the gates of castle, and Greek army attacked the Romans and won that castle, won that war. So from that, this virus name is denoted. So Trojan horse always hides inside a video clip, audio clip. There was one virus very popular, its name is I love you. So boy receive a message from a girl, I love you. So he will open this message, oh, some girl send me a message, I love you, and virus attack. Vice versa, girl receive a message from a boy, I love you. She opened that message and damage is done. Then NIMDA virus. When you copy your data as a backup, the NIMDA will copy only the folders. No files are copied. I am one of the victims of NIMDA. I left University of Lahore and joined ComSets. I copied all data on CDs. And when I didn't open that, I didn't check that, when I copied that data on the system of ComSets and I opened the folders, these folders were empty. So I lost all the data. Worm. Example, NIMDA has a worm version. Stuxnet is a virus. NIMDA has a virus version and worm. So Trojan horse, I love you, Stuxnet, NIMDA. Worm, NIMDA has a worm version as well. Netlog is another example of worm. It generates extra network traffic. Because of that, all the traffic will jam, congested, and server will become slow. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.